Winterläufe 8K in Frankenmuth, Michigan, and it went pretty darn well. I got a PR by I think like 2 minutes, but that's only because I'd only ever run one other 8K, and I was very tired 2 weeks after a marathon, so my time was really slow then. So was pretty much guaranteed a PR, assuming I didn't do something stupid, get hurt or something like that, or if the weather was really terrible. I was a little worried about the weather at first because I woke up and it was like 11 degrees, and I looked at the weather forecast for Frankenmuth, and it was like 29-mile-an-hour gusts predicted. So I was like, oh man, this might not turn out so well. It was really cold. It was like single digits with the wind chill and everything. So it was very, very cold. Not ideal conditions by any stretch, but roads were pretty clear. There was about a mile right in the middle that was on a dirt road, and that part was like covered in ice and snow, really densely packed snow, so it was pretty slippery. And sure enough, that was my slowest mile, that middle mile. So that's one thing, if anyone's going to run this race, to be aware of. There is that dirt road. Depending on whether there's been snow and ice and what the temperature is like, running this race in February, that's, you know, kind of a concern. That part's probably going to be a little bit slower, a little bit slippery, so something to take into account. Another thing that was kind of a surprise, there was actually quite a bit of rolling hills in this race that I wasn't expecting, and so it's definitely not like a PR friendly course by any stretch of the imagination. But it worked out that way for me just because I haven't done that many 8Ks. So I was pretty happy. I finished 9th overall, second in my age group. It was a little bit agonizing because I finished 7 seconds out of 7th place. I lost by 1 second to 8th place and 7 seconds to 7th place. And the 7th place guy was in my age group, so 7 seconds away from a first in the age group. And I feel like I probably could have chased those guys down. I was chasing them down at the end there and just ran out of real estate. If I would have started kicking maybe, you know, a little bit earlier, I probably could have caught at least the one guy. The kid who finished just ahead of me, he was 18 years old, and I know I could have caught him because he was slowing down there at the end, and I was speeding up, but just ran out, just missed it by that much, lost by a second, and just didn't quite have enough to catch him. But finished very, very strong, was happy about that. Probably could have pushed the pace a little bit in those middle miles. My first and last miles were the fastest, and then the middle 3 miles were all about the same, with the middle mile being the slowest. So yeah, if I had kind of evened those out a little bit, probably would have been you know, a little bit faster. I think my last mile was like 6:06 pace or something like that, so I was really blazing that last mile. But yeah, so if I had maybe gone out 6:20 pace the whole way, if I could have run even splits, you know, I probably would have been that much faster. But still very, very happy with it. I didn't taper at all. It was hilly, it was winter, so I was, you know, layered up and stuff, and so I feel like I could probably go under 31 minutes maybe on a real good day with the taper and everything. So that's something to shoot for. There aren't that many 8Ks around, so I probably won't get that many chances. But overall, I was pretty happy with that. That's about right in line with the half marathon I did 2 weeks ago. This was actually a little bit ahead of that pace if you correlate that out. So everything's looking pretty good for my marathon coming up in 4 weeks. I'm pretty darn happy about that. It's just going to be a question of my long range endurance. You know, I'm that's the one thing that I'm just worried about. I think I'm gonna definitely have my strongest marathon. It's just going to be a question of whether I can hang on in those last, you know, those last 6 miles, say. I have a feeling I'm going to get there feeling strong. It's just going to come down to if I got enough endurance for those last few miles to hang on to my goal pace. So we'll see how that works out. I'm really starting to get anxious about that because it's just 4 weeks out from today. So it's getting down to the wire here. So yeah, there were like 600 racers. There were walkers and runners, so that's a little bit skewed. There were a lot of people who weren't necessarily running this race, but they were just walking. But there were like 600 people overall who finished. And so it's in the town of Frankenmuth, which is a pretty cool city. It's a German city, and they have lots of touristy kind of stuff going on. So it's a fun race, fun place to visit. I wouldn't say it's the best 8K out there. If you're looking for fast times, you can probably find one better, but there aren't that many really around. So mid-Michigan, it's one to look forward to, especially if you like winter running. There aren't usually that many races in this time period, so something to look for. It was well run. You know, it's a short enough race that you really don't have to worry about liquids and stuff like that or anything. So, so yeah, it was a fun race. I was pretty proud of myself. Was a little bit aggravated at the end there that I couldn't just edge out those two guys at the end, but overall I was faster than I thought I'd be, and it was hillier than I thought it would be. So, got to be happy about that. So. That's about all I have to say about the race. 2 weeks from today, I'm running a 10K, so that'll be my last tune-up race before the marathon. We'll see how that goes. I'm on a 3-race streak of finishing in the top 10. Should be easily 4 in a row here with that 10K coming up, assuming that a ton of real fast people don't show up for that race. But assuming the turnout is like the last one that was in Mount Pleasant, it's part of the race series. Assuming the turnout's about the same, I should easily hit the top 10. I was 5th overall in the half marathon, and it kind of skews a lot of people. More people run the half marathon than run the 10K or the 5K at this event, so I'm expecting to do pretty well there. We'll see how it turns out, but thanks for watching. I'm going to do a shoe review. I wore a pair of racing shoes for the first time for this race. So I'm going to review those because they are very lightweight and very much racing flat. So not going to get I'm not going to wear them for training. So I figured I may as well do a report on them after a race. And then I got a new pair of trainers as well. So got a couple new shoe reviews coming out. I'll have a race preview and review coming out for the 10K and then my marathon coming up. So stay tuned for those. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon.